All right. All right, YouTube. We are just waiting just a moment for Twitch to go live. All right, welcome on Twitch and on YouTube. Hello, everybody. This is a text adventure brought to us by Choice of Games. I've read a few of their text adventures before on my YouTube channel, and we are going to be live with this tonight. We're going to see how this goes. Now, I bought this a couple of months ago, I think when it was on sale, probably back in October or something, with the intentions of live streaming it. The reason I took interest in this particular game is because it came out in April, and it's a text adventure, kind of like the old Choose Your Own Adventures. This one's about a virus, a deadly virus, almost like what we have with COVID. But it looks like it was probably written well before COVID hit America, so I like that. It's supposedly well written. So it's not like this person wrote this because of COVID or tried to cash in on COVID. No, he started writing this not visual, but this text adventure before COVID became a thing. And so that's why it kind of intrigues me. Mask of the Plague Doctor is a text adventure where we're trying to stop a deadly plague in the medieval fantasy tale of swords and surgery. Unearth medical knowledge, prevent the town's purge, and plot your own escape. So I'll be reading to you guys. If you guys like my voice, if you guys, want a very casual, chill live stream, this is probably going to be for you. There are going to be choices that we'll make that will determine the outcome of this adventure. Welcome, Princess 19. Welcome, people that are tuning in. I want to go ahead and thank you guys for being here. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you are on YouTube and you are enjoying it, make sure you hit that like button. So we're going to go ahead and play this, guys. Like I said, I bought it a couple months ago, and I've been wanting to do this. So let's go ahead and see what this is about and see if this is good. I know that one of the bigger text adventures I've read so far is Zombie Exodus. I read all of Zombie Exodus, I think like 30 hours worth of it. And then I have 12 or 13 hours in 2 parts of Zombie Exodus Safe Haven. We've been really enjoying that, but we're still waiting on part 3 for Safe Haven, which is a totally different story than the original Zombie Exodus. But this is a completely different writer that has wrote this. And also, guys, you guys can go to the Choice of Games website. Just Google Choice of Games. If you guys are writers and you guys would like to make money by, writing your own adventure like this and feel like you have the writing skills to do it, you can make money by writing text adventures just like the one I'm about to play. Check out the Choice of Games website where they tell you how you can submit your own text adventure that they may actually publish for you. They would take care of all the publishing costs, and then you would just make money off the sales for your text adventure, both on Steam and on other platforms such as Android and stuff like that, iPhone, things like that. But let's go ahead and play Mask of the Plague Doctor. One thing I like about these adventures, guys, is, like I've said before, this is going to be, first of all, let's see if we can change this to a dark. Can we change this to like a dark? Change the background color. There we go. Next, black background. Or how about a sepia? Let's look at that. Next. No? Black? There we go. That might be a little bit easier to read. Return to the game. All right. So the white was a little bit bright. So welcome, everybody. This is, again, a text adventure, something about a deadly plague virus, and we are trying to stop it before it kills everybody. And we have to work together with other plague doctors, I guess. Hopefully we'll find out what this is about. It looks pretty interesting so far. It is getting over 90% positive reviews. And I want to thank you guys for being here. If you guys enjoy hearing me read to you, if you guys have the power or the ability to imagine, rather than having, graphics and a TV show giving you everything to you, I really believe that when you read a good book, or when you have me read an adventure like this to you, it can set your imagination on fire. And your imagination has way more power than even the best Hollywood movies out there. The things you can imagine far exceed what you could see on screen, even if they spent $500 million on special effects. It's nothing compared to what you can imagine, and that's why I like reading. That's why I like adventures like this. So hopefully you guys will be here and share this adventure with me. Hopefully you guys will kick back and enjoy it. And if you guys are here, I will also let you guys at times help me make decisions when I make decisions, and let you guys help me shape what happens in my story. All right, so the Baron's encampment. Mud slops around your ankles as the late afternoon rain patters off waxed robes and soaks into the churned field. This soil may once have nurtured wheat, but is now home only to spall and grime of an encamped army. You picked your way across the sopping turf toward the strangled line of tents that serve as a makeshift perimeter. As you draw closer to the canvas array, you see a tattered coat of arms through the rain. The same falcon sigil adorns your imperial summons to the town of Thornback Hollow. A few soldiers huddle around struggling fires, some dressed in the black and yellow of their feudal master, others in the same peasant garb that they were wearing when ordered to serve. Judging by their demeanor and the condition of the surrounding fields, they have been here for several weeks. The lack of activity suggests most others are taking cover from the weather. You! Stop there! Turning towards the voice, you see a woman striding through the murk in your direction. So basically, let's redo that. Stop! You! Stop there! So it's a female, right? So we look at her, and we see through the murky weather, we see her. And she wipes away some rainwater from her eyes and brandishes a rake. The black and yellow livery suggests she's with the soldiers. Thornback Hollow is under quarantine. What's your business here? So she asks us what our business is here. So should we gesture at your plague doctor mask? Okay, so we are a plague doctor. And we could just basically point at it and say, duh, right? Or we could say, I'm here to see the Baron. I've got a summons from the crown. Or we could say, your troubles are over. I'm here to save the town. We could basically act like the hero and, flaunt our what would it be? Our altruism? Or we could say, no time to chat. Which way to the plague? Or we could say, wherever there is suffering, my deity couples me to act. So a lot of choices here on what we can say to this woman of the soldier encampment that we have here. What do you guys think? Anybody have any suggestions on what I should say? I'm kind of leaning against your troubles are over. I'm here to save the town. That almost sounds like a Mighty Mouse. Does anybody remember Mighty Mouse? Mighty Mouse is here to save the day. That old cartoon. That's kind of what that reminds me of. No, I'm not going to be Mighty Mouse here, so I'm not going to do this one. Anybody have any other suggestions here? Nobody. Hello, everybody. All right, guys, I think I'm going to go with what I'm leaning towards here. I think I'm just going to say, wherever there is suffering, my deity compels me to act. Because the first one, pointing at my plague doctor mask, kind of makes me seem like a smart ass. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't even know her. And she says, oh, how very noble, the soldier says. If virtue is the tonic, the town's as good as cured. She pauses, looking you up and down again as she considers her next move. Right. Can't be too careful. I need to clear this with the Baron Morland, sorry. Stay here until I get back. The soldier glances around at the wide open avenues between the tents, and then she looks back at you. Don't you go anywhere, she adds. Baron hates it if you're late. You watch her stride away and disappear between the lines of temporary dwellings. The rain splashes around you and drips from your sleeves. She won't begrudge you finding a little shelter, surely. As you settle in under a nearby canopy, a different soldier dashes up, almost losing his footing in the mud. He grabs your shoulder. "Are you a doctor?" he gasps out, not waiting for a reply. Come with me! Come with me! My friend needs medicine. Please, please!" Okay, so already it's throwing us in the action, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. We can feel the rain coming down. It's almost depressing. We can feel the rain and the cold around us and the murkiness and the sloppy mud and the tents that people are living in out here. The soldiers are living in. And we are here, obviously, because people are sick. People have a virus. And yeah, I mean, this is something that, we're doing, right? So this guy grabs us and says, "Are you a doctor? My friend needs medicine, please." So I can choose to say I am, but it's vital that I wait here to meet with a baron. Or I can say, "Perhaps I can help if you tell me about your friend's condition." Or should I say, "This sounds serious. Let's go at once." Ooh, this is a bigger decision than what we said to the female, I think. Murph Killer says the second one. "Perhaps I can help," kind of a neutral stance, asking what we can do. Let's do that. So I'm going to let you guys help me determine the outcome. Maybe it's not that serious. I can understand that logic. Let's go with the middle one and not go one way or the other. I kind of agree. All right. So we basically ask him what's going on with your friend, right? And the soldier seems to settle down just a bit. "Rowan, that's his name. He showed me a gash on his leg a few days back. We had to switch patrol duties because he found it hard to walk. Anyway, now he has the sweats and the leg, it isn't healing." Okay, so we should ask, does the wound smell? That would be like infection, right? Or has the wound turned a different color? Or should we say, is there pus coming from the wound? Ooh, trying to ask about the wound. Does it smell? Has it turned a different color? Or is there pus coming from the wound? I know smell can give off a lot of information, but so can turning a different color, I would think. All of them would give information, I would think. What do you guys think? I'll let you guys, first one to give me an answer. Number two again, Murph? All right. Let's go with it. Has it turned a different color? "Nah, it's still all red and fleshy," he says. "I'm jarring, by the way." Satisfied that the gash has not yet taken an unpleasant turn, you tell the soldier to first wash his friend's leg with vinegar. He nods as you dig into your medical pouches and produce some verdigris pigment. You instruct him to combine this with honey, warm the mixture, and smear it on the cut. "I'll have to barter for the honey, but if you, he says, "I'll have to barter for the honey, but if you say it'll help Rowan, it's well worth it. Thank you," he says. So we can move on now to the rain beats down. All right. So as you hand over the pigment, the two of you are joined by the woman with the rake. Jarin greets her with enthusiasm. "Get this one to the Baron, Rhea. Thornback Hollow needs..." He pauses, suddenly conscious not to assume who resides beneath the mask and robes. And so he says Thornback Harrow needs him, Jarin, and thank you. Or needs him, Jarin, and thanks for my support. Or needs her, Jarin. Okay, so basically this is asking if I am a him or a her. Or if he doesn't know. I'll just say him. Yeah, I'm going to be a guy. "Needs him. Got it?" With that, Jarin sprints off. All right. "You're actually still here. Wise choice. To wait as instructed, I mean. Very wise indeed." The returning soldier walks in a full circle around you, adding under her breath, "And they say Riot isn't fit for guard duty." You greet her and note with relief that the rake no longer finds itself pointed at your gut. All right, she says. Good news. Baron Morland is eager to meet you. Well, these weren't his exact words, but you're clear to see him. She points at a flag, fluttering higher than the more modest tents. Head for that coat of arms with a bloody great bird on it. The Baron likes to remind us he's always watching over our activities, or just soaring above us. It's one of those. Her message delivered, Raya strides off across the sodden camp to pursue some new duty. All right. Hang on. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Give me just a second here. All right. With the center of the camp threatening to become a dirt reservoir, you follow a pathway that looks less likely to drag you to a mud-filled grave. It leads you alongside some farm buildings a short distance away from the main hub of the camp activity. You pause to peer through a crack in the wooden structure. The buildings appear to have been repurposed as basic living quarters for more of Baron Morland's levied troops. Thornback Hollow's farmers must either have fled or now reside in the town itself. Ripe scents of hastily dug latrines waft in the damp air. As you move on to pass between two abandoned barns, a figure steps out in the shadows. You, give me everything you have. Your would-be assailant cuts a bedraggled figure. Rainwater runs through the thin strangles of hair and drips off a drawn, malnourished face. He wields the stub of a knife and waves it in the general direction of your medicinal pouches. So now he's trying to rob us. So now we got a friggin', I can definitely see that in times like this. I can definitely see how somebody would, there would be a lot of thieves and people trying to take advantage of anything to try to get, especially medicine, right? So should I say to him, this is ridiculous, I push past this pathetic thief, or should I adopt an intimidating tone to make him back down, or should I convince him that there's a much richer pickings elsewhere, or should I say the poor lad is in a bad way, I'll give him some food? Interesting. A lot of choices here, people. And if anybody is just coming in now and watching now, we've just started Mask of the Plague Doctor. This is a text adventure that I bought a couple of months ago. I've enjoyed a few of these already. I've enjoyed quite a few visual novels as well. Guys, don't let the no graphics or sound effects scare you away. Sometimes there's nothing better than a well-written adventure or story or book. And I'm here to do all the work for you and read this adventure to you and let you guys become a part of my adventure. So let your imagination spark, people. Let your imaginations take over, kick back and relax, and enjoy my voice and my reading this novel adventure to you. Murph Killer says, hey, Zaxter, I'm very sorry, but I'm getting tired and heading to bed, but I'm saying number 3. Pog, how you doing? Welcome, everybody. All right, so you're saying number 3, convincing that there's much richer pickings elsewhere. I'm going to go on my own here, and I'm going to give him some food. No, that might encourage him to keep up his behavior. So, adopt an intimidating tone. Let's go for the dramatic thing. Let's go number 2, and let's try to intimidate this would-be thief, right? Or maybe he is a thief. I'm curious to see what happens if we basically deepen our voice even deeper than his and say, you want to fuck with me, bitch? Come on, bring it. Let's do that, basically, right? An intimidating tone to make him back down. We're going to flare out our chest, right? Kind of like a bearded dragon kind of flares up, or like what am I thinking of? Like, there's toads out there that anytime there's a threat, right, like a bird or a threat to like a frog or whatever, those toads that can like bloat themselves like 3 times bigger than they are, you know, that kind of thing. And I say, do you know what this mask means, you ask? Advancing on the knife-wielding man. So I'm moving forward slowly towards him, saying, do you know what this mask means, you dumbass? Right? And it means I'm a plague doctor. It means I've survived diseases that have lain waste to an entire towns. I've faced down deities of morality, pestilence, and ruin. You've made an extremely poor decision to try and rob me. But if you scuttle away now, I won't hold it against you. Ooh, I like it. The man opens and closes his mouth a few times, forces out a quiet cry, and turns tail. You give him a few moments to escape into the distance before continuing on towards the Baron's location. I like it. I like how that turned out. What do you guys think? You guys like that? We're going to go ahead and move onward through the camp. You arrive at Baron Morlon's fancy tent and are accosted by 2 guards. Unlike the peasants in the lower parts of the camp, these soldiers are well equipped and in fine livery. You present them with your letter of summons. Seems to check out, the man says, turning to his colleague. Keep an eye on him. I'll tell the Baron. After a short wait, the first soldier returns and beckons you inside. The Baron awaits. Baron Osbert Morland leans over a large wooden table, his palms flat against the grain. Graying hair and a curated beard frame a face with pointed features. His yellow and black tabard hangs over a coat of chainmail. Scrolls, charts, and a silver tray with the remains of a meal rest at the table's surface. Ah, you're here. I do appreciate it when people arrive on my command. So here I can say to him, I serve at the crown's behest. Or I can say, those who get to issue commands do tend to appreciate them more than most. I can say, I felt a swift attendance would be most fruitful. Or I can say, I'm a fast walker. Just going to say the third one. I felt that a swift attendance would be most fruitful. In the sense, I do not have cause to discipline you. Wait a minute. In that sense, I do not have any cause to discipline you. Correct, he says. Morland shuffles some papers around and motions to an empty chair. Now, sit down and take that damn mask off. You take a seat, and as instructed, you remove my crow mask, my cat mask, my skeletal mask, my wolf mask, my harlequin mask, my stag mask, my sun mask, my hare mask, or a different mask. Wow. It still says DBV on Twitch. Okay, thanks for that, Lauren. It shouldn't be saying that. Yeah, I've updated it. People are coming in. I appreciate that. Let me check that out real quick, guys, and see what's going on with that. Because I updated it on Restream, but... Alright, give me a sec here. I had this happen the other day as well, where YouTube wasn't updating to whatever I changed it to on Restream. Alright. Stream information. It says mask of... Try to refresh, Lauren. Try to refresh, because I shows... I just went to it. Hang on just a second here. Let me look. Yeah, I'm looking at it on Twitch, man. It says the right thing on Twitch. I'm looking at it right now. Let me check my YouTube page as well. Yep. To me, it's showing everything right. Refresh, bud. Alright. Alright, so what do you guys think here? Give me a second here. Welcome to the stream, everybody. We are here. We are playing a text adventure that looks pretty good called Mask of the Plague Doctor. We are playing as a plague doctor with other plague doctors trying to stop a very deadly virus. Kind of reminds me of COVID. Now, this is a text adventure that was written, it looks like, before COVID became a thing here in America. That's one reason I'm intrigued by this, but it did launch on Steam in April of this year, but was probably, at least the writer probably started writing it well before COVID happened. So I don't think this is just some text adventure where the writer was trying to cash in on COVID. So, Edic says, do the crow mask. Maniac says a wolf. I'm fine with either. What do you guys think? Anybody want to side with one of them? Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you guys here. We are going to make these streams of this text adventure pretty short, though, guys. I'm not going to try to read very long because I don't think anybody's going to want to see a video on my YouTube page that's like 2 or 3 hours long. So we're going to try to make these pretty short here so people can basically get an idea of what the game is if they just want to listen for 20, 30, 40 minutes, something like that. All right, let's go with, I like a skeletal mask. I'll go with that. Let's go with a skeletal mask. I don't know, though, because that kind of reminds me of death. Like, we're here to prevent death from happening, right? So skeletal mask almost seems like we're evil. Like, I'm thinking of, excuse me if I'm thinking back to, like, He-Man. I was never a big He-Man watcher, but I remember that skeletal guy called, Skeletor or whatever, and I think he was He-Man's main bad guy or whatever. He was he was basically death. He was evil. So maybe a skeletal mask wouldn't be good for a plague doctor who's fighting a plague. It probably isn't going to matter, to be honest with you. I don't know that it's going to matter. I have no idea. But crow mask. Let's do a crow. I kind of like that. Let's do a crow mask, guys. I can see that. Let's do the first one. Or you know what? Let's just be completely different. Let's go a cat mask. Yeah, let's be a kitty cat. If there was a dog mask, I would do a dog. Or no, how about let's go with a wolf. A wolf is kind of like a dog, right? Let's do a wolf. That's the closest to a dog, and I like dogs. Yeah, let's do a wolf mask. I think Lawrence said that. All right, guys. So we chose a wolf mask. Remember that. Better, Moreland says. I prefer to see someone's face than a shaggy dog pelt. So we can see that our decision has already influenced the dialogue, the writing that we got. Because by choosing a wolf mask, he actually says, I prefer to see someone's face over a shaggy dog pelt. That's pretty funny. Can't die if you're already dead? That's a good point, Lauren. I agree with that. You hold your wolf mask in your lap as the Baron continues. I know you plague doctors have diverting personal connections to those awful facial decorations. So out of curiosity, how did you come by that? Do keep it brief. Don't make me regret this. So now he's basically asking us why we chose a wolf mask. I studied medicine at the University of Chauliac. I was apprenticed to a barber surgeon from an early age. I served the great martyr Rhesus as a faithful acolyte. I fell into the profession by selling medicinal herbs town to town. So we're kind of picking our past here. I picked up medicine as bodyguard to a woodland apothecary. I've been experimented on so many times I'm practically invincible. Or I obtained this mask with a very particular skill set. Let me be specific. I think this is where we can put in our own thing or something. Last? All right. Last or second to last? All right, we'll go last to see what it says. Let me be specific. If you must, the Baron sighs. So we haven't intrigued him yet. You explain that you consider yourself exceptional at are we really good at? This is where we're kind of picking a skill that we're really good at. Medical theory, surgery, mystic rites, intimidating people, convincing people, or emerging from fights unscathed. Well, if we're going to be a plague doctor, I think we should either be surgery or medical theory, is what I'm thinking, rather than a tough guy. I mean, we're coming in here as a plague doctor, not as a freaking, like a badass vigilante or something. Convincing people? I'm leaning towards one of these two guys, or one of the top three. I'm going to choose one of the top three. You guys choose from these two. Not convincing people or intimidating. I can understand the rationale behind that, but I'm also going, hey, we want to be good at what we're doing. We're coming in here trying to save people from a plague. I feel like we need to be one of the top two, actually. Convincing people, it might be like a good choice for this. I don't know. But I'm thinking since we are a plague doctor, we should probably be good at what we're trying to do here. Medical theory? Okay, let's go that one. And then he says, basically, I would hope so, Moreland says. You continue describing your talents, indicating yourself to be relatively proficient at surgery, mystic rites, intimidating people, convincing people, or emerging from fights unscathed. Let's go surgery as well. Let's be good at medical theory and surgery. One hopes there won't be too many people to cut up, Moreland says. Though adept in many areas, you must admit you are among the worst at. What are we worst at? What are we bad at? We already showed that we're pretty good at intimidating people. So I don't know that I want to choose emerging from fights unscathed, though. I don't know that I want to get my ass kicked. But guys, we need to have a vulnerability. So let's make the story interesting, and let's make us be a nerdy wimp, right? Let's make us be a nerdy wimp. If we get in a fight, we're fucked, basically, right? So we're going to basically say we are terrible at emerging from fights unscathed. Let's hope that we can intimidate people like we already did once, and let's hope we don't actually get in a fight. So this kind of makes me think like, how you like when you play an RPG game, guys, if you play like a wizard, you're really good at spells and sorcery or whatever, but you're really frail and weak. So we're basically that guy. We're really good at surgery and medical theory, but if we get in a fight, we're screwed. All right, so let's do that. Let's give ourselves a good vulnerability. Everybody, even Superman has a vulnerability, right? Kryptonite. So let's try to avoid fights, huh? And the Baron says, you best keep away from trouble then, huh? And you conclude your summation of your abilities, confessing that you are also a little unskilled when it comes to, oh my god, we're going to choose another one? I don't want to do either one of these, so we're just going to go Mystic Rites. We're not that good at Mystic Rites either. Yeah. All right. As I suspected, Baron Moreland says, your blathering is not a patch on the story of how my family obtained this fine coat of arms. He circles a hand in the direction of a huge embroidered falcon hovering behind his shoulder. Requiring no further prompt, he launches into the saga of how the first Baron Moreland, then merely a commander of a small unit of cavalry, lifted the siege on Hairsborough with a timely charge. Foes were routed, heroes were toasted, and the crown awarded James Cuthbert Moreland III with a barony of his stalwart actions that day. It was said that his horsemen stooped down on Hairsborough like a falcon on its prey, Moreland says with a wistful look. A stirring story, wouldn't you agree? So he tells us about this hero, James Cuthbert Moreland III, and tells us that's a stirring story, wouldn't you agree? Should I say nothing less than those Hairsborough traitors deserved? Should we say, I'm sure they'll speak of Osbert Moreland in the same way in time? Or should I say, did you just ask about me as an excuse to talk about yourself? Oh, wow. That's basically saying wow, that's very confrontational I think, on the third one. And then the fourth one is it made me want a flying horse. So basically, these two are pretty confrontational. This one's basically saying, I think you're full of shit. That's what it sounds like, anyway. Adik says, oh my gosh, I just watched Supergirl, and I seen you are on live, so I came to watch you. All right, well, I appreciate you choosing me over Supergirl. Adik, that's quite the compliment. Laura, my good buddy over on YouTube, says, wine. I agree. Yeah, let's not be confrontational here. I think it's a little bit early for such drama, right? So let's just go ahead and tell him nothing less than those Harrisburg traders deserved. So gratifying to share a tale of valiant ancestry with someone who can appreciate it. Moreland clears his throat and jabs his finger at a map of the surrounding area. Thornback Hallow is in the grip of an epidemic we cannot explain. Hence, the general summons for plague doctors. He tells you that the first reports of the disease came from traders passing along Thornback Hollow Central Road. As more accounts emerged and the threat of a spreading plague became credible, the Crown authorized the mobilization of local peasantry and ordered the town placed under quarantine. Kind of sounds like the world we're living in today, doesn't it? I've been here since early autumn, keeping the town locked up and kicking my heels while I followed the law and put out a summons. All three of you, basically talking three of us plague doctors, all three of you turned up today, and I'll be sending you in just as soon as we finish this little chat. The Baron smooths down his halberd and looks down at you. Anything to add to this juncture? Should I tell him I vow to find a way to stop the plague? Should I express my enthusiasm to get started? Should I tell him I show concern for the suffering of the people behind the blockade? Or should I say I assert my dedication to serving the crown? Ooh, decisions. I like all these choices that were given in this adventure already. What do you guys think? Hopefully you guys are getting sucked in. Guys, type in yes if you guys are enjoying this right now. Give me a yes if you guys are enjoying Mask of the Plague Doctor and me reading it to you right now. Give me a bah if you're not really enjoying it and you're looking for something better to do. Maybe you're bored. That's fine. Obviously, you could probably just leave if you're really that bored. I'm assuming that most of you are here because you're enjoying Mask of the Plague Doctor so far, but give me a yes. I would love to know if you guys are really enjoying this so far. Also, I have the link down to the adventure if you guys would like to purchase this on Steam. It is 30% off. It's under $5 right now if you want to make these choices yourself. If you think you would enjoy reading this yourself, maybe a little bit faster, you can obviously read a little bit faster at your own pace, and you can make all these decisions yourself. Help support this writer who obviously put in a lot of work to write this. So thanks for that feedback, guys. What do you guys think? Let's try to be a hero to this Baron, and we're going to say, I vow to find a way to stop this plague. We are a plague doctor, by the way. I'll let you choose. I don't mind those choices. All right. So that's the spirit, the Baron says. And we say, well, what can you tell me about the sickness? And he says, that's supposed to be your job. Moreland smirks, looking at you down his nose. I can only relate to what I've been told. The plague stops you from sleeping. Those who catch it feel exhausted but can't rest. Well, that sounds awful. Then their memory just starts to go. They say the victims start seeing things and hearing things. Eventually, they just lie down and never get up again. He shakes his head. I skipped a day or two of sleep on campaign, but to go without it for weeks? Basically, he's saying he can't imagine this plague going without any rest. Our memory's starting to go, and then you start having basically hallucinations if you get this plague. That does sound pretty awful. Not being able to sleep? Can you guys just imagine having a plague where you can't frickin' sleep? I mean, at least if you get COVID, yeah, you're going to be sick as hell, but at least you're going to be able to take some medicine and sleep or whatever, right? So this does sound awful, like you can't sleep, and then because you're not sleeping, you start having freaking hallucinations, and you can't remember shit. That does sound pretty bad. Yeah.
Insomnia.
My son just says insomnia. My son says, is this plague insomnia? A low breeze rustles the flap of the tank as you contemplate the Baron's words. He continues, Thornback Hello sits on the Crown's most accessible road to the sea. If the town falls to disease, it will be purged and then abandoned. That purge will, I'm afraid, include you and your colleagues. Basically saying we're fucked if we don't succeed. Not something I'm relishing, but be quite assured that I will carry out that order. He starts to pace back and forth behind the table, arms folded behind his back. I don't know how long I could keep my troops fed on the scraps of farmland, and I don't know how much longer the Crown will tolerate the closure of their trade route. So you are advised to work swiftly. The Baron stops and falls silent, looking at you over his shoulder. You sense he's waiting for you to assert your readiness for the task ahead. Hey Chongus, how you doing? Yeah, there is a real-life condition that prevents sleep. It's terrifying. Welcome, everybody. It looks like you guys are enjoying this. I never would have imagined I would have 9 people here watching me read a text adventure. I want to say, guys, I appreciate everyone being here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying Mask of the Plague Doctor right now. I know I'm enjoying this. Right, it looks like it's well written. It looks like quite the adventure. And I think, given the current times that we're in, a lot of us are in quarantine with COVID right now. I felt like this is probably the perfect text adventure to read right now. It's why I bought this a couple of months ago. Headache says, you talked about sleeping, and it's like 3 a.m. for me. I already have this disease. I already have this plague. Oh, my God. All right, so you sense he's waiting for you to assert your readiness for the task. I thought we already said that we're going to stop it. Like, what else is he waiting for? Dude, I already told you I am on a mission. I will stop this plague. What more do you want? Should I say my knowledge of medicine won't let me down? Or there's not a wound yet devised that my hands cannot stitch? Or with the deities to guide me, I cannot fail? I'm just going to say the middle one. There's not a wound yet devised that my hands cannot stitch, because that kind of fits the choices we made earlier about medical theory and surgery being our strongest 2 skills. And he says, well, for your sake, I hope that's the case, Moreland says. You'll be working with a miserable sod who fancies himself as a surgeon, and one who thinks she can cure all illness because she's read some books. His chainmail clinks as he places his hands back on the table. I'm sure you'll make a wonderful team. Does anyone else think that this guy's being like a smartass at this point? Or maybe he's just so pessimistic, right? It almost sounds like this Baron here is basically saying we're fucked, is what it sounds like. Listen to him. He says, well, for your sake, I hope that's the case, that you can stop these elements, because he's saying you're working with a miserable side. He calls one of them a miserable sod who fancies himself as a surgeon. So he's basically calling this guy a loser that's not worth crap. And then he says there's a female plague doctor who says she can cure all illnesses just because she's read a few books. Yeah, that doesn't sound too positive, I guess. Yeah. He's annoying, Lauren says. And so we ask him, how are you able to uphold the quarantine from this one camp, you ask? By sheer force of my iron will, says Moreland. He pauses to gauge your reaction. Now, also, I just want to point out that Lawrence says that he's annoying. He might be more annoying based on the voice that I'm choosing to give him, right? Let's be honest there. Just because I gave him this like annoying voice, that might have something to do with him being more annoying as well. But anyway, I'm glad that the voice I'm using and the way I'm reading the words at least gives you guys at least gives Lauren the impression that this is a very annoying Baron. You blink back. No, very well. There's a second camp. Oh, wait a minute. No, he's saying this. No, very well. There's a second camp outside the northern gate. This blockade watches the south. The Thornback River runs down the east, and the western cliffs are steeper than any wall we could put up. I run regular patrols, too, just in case anybody feels like trying to swim or climb their way out. Some have tried. The Baron allows that sentence to hang for a moment. And then he says, we fished Thornback's last physician out of the water about a week ago. Not sure if he was trying to run or if the townsfolk got tired of waiting for a cure. Burning the body was a challenge. Well, that's a lot to take in. Should we say I'm too magnificent to drown? I'm too menacing to drown? Or I'm too tough to drown? We're just going to say we're magnificent, right? Because our toughness is already in. Sure, Zax, he has an annoying voice, yes. So we basically say we're magnificent. We're not going to drown. Moreland looks you up and down. You do appear to believe that, he says at last. One further thing. Sybil Blake is the town mayor. She's a firm hand who has the crown's blessing. To the best of our knowledge, she's still alive and in power. We'd like her to remain that way. Any more questions? You shake your head. A merciful relief. Now, as stated on your letter of summons, any insights about this disease we are to be turned over to the Crown. No exceptions, and there's no excuses. Medical discoveries are imperial property, and refusal to submit said property is theft. So he's basically saying if we make any medical discoveries, we have to turn that over. We have to turn that over to the Crown. Otherwise, we'd be a thief. All right. And refusal to submit such property is theft. You do not yet strike me as a thief. He sorts through some parchment on his desk. It's also my great pleasure to inform you that the court is looking to expand the Fellowship of Royal Physicians. Perform to the satisfaction of the Crown, and I will be in a position to recommend you as an appointee. Displease the Crown, and well, I'm sure it won't come to that. The Baron fixes you with a stare as his lips form his last sentence, and then he smiles. You feel little reassurance. In order to put you forward, I need to know your name. What is it? And I say, why aren't they here? You ask. The Fellowship. He says, do your job, and you may ask them yourself. Moreland's brow tightens in frustration. I sent a second rider last week, but can't spare any more horses. So, unless I hear otherwise, you're all we've got. He taps the parchment. Now, your name? Gawain Ladislas Drake. Baway, Fluke, Gamel. I'm just going to be Drake. Drake sounds good. Let's be Drake. All right. The Baron notes your name down. There, now we're properly introduced, just in time for you to leave. He motions for you to stand up. As he moves to escort you out, one of the tent guards pokes his head through the entrance. Your lordship, we've caught another Thornback Hollow runaway. She's giving us some trouble. Baron Moreland makes a sound of a resigned irritation and then motions for you to accompany him. Every blasted second of every accursed day taunts me with new problems. Drake, come with me. You can make yourself useful. You put on your mask and follow him outside. The rain has ceased, and the cool air of the evening fills Steel. Head toward the commotion. All right, Adek, thanks so much for coming in, man. All right. With that, guys, we are going to go ahead and stop here. We've been reading for about 50 minutes, so less than an hour. I want to try to keep these chapters less than an hour, but hopefully we got a good idea of what's happening now with Mask of the Plague Doctor. I think it's starting off pretty good. I think we've definitely got a challenge in store for us to try to stop this plague and fix all that is broken from this plague, and also succeed in what we've promised we're going to do. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Maybe this has been enough of a video to encourage you to go buy Mask of the Plague Doctor on Steam. Again, right now it is on sale 30% off for this winter Steam sale, or I'm sure you can buy it at a sale price as well on your Android phone or other devices. I want to thank all you guys for being here for part 1 of Mask of the Plague Doctor, and we'll return with part 2 of Mask of the Plague Doctor here in the very near future. Lauren, thanks so much for being here. Eddick, thanks so much for being here. Anybody else? Chongus, thanks so much for being here. Everybody else who's here, thanks so much. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this. And if you guys are on YouTube and you're watching this live or you watch this replay, be sure you give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. And let me know down in the comments if this first part has encouraged you to go buy this and make the choices for yourself. If this looks like something you would enjoy, I would love to know. But whatever you thought of it, let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.